They phoned somebody at the gate. That person now said they should leave the place. He will meet them when he want to meet them. And petitioner will not wait for anybody. So, and the belief said we left there for our safety. No, that carries a lot of, insinuations.
Election petition today, nowadays, has the time free, and it has to be followed. And again, petitions now will not require bringing volume of witnesses to substantiate your case. Most of what we ask for is there are cases that are self-proving and it's document-based. So we did not envisage a lengthy period of trial during this tribunal.
Ruling on the applications, Tribunal Chairman Justice Tetsi Aroga Kume granted the application for substituted service, allowing the bailiff to paste a copy of the document on the tribunal notice board for the second respondent's attention. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Cross River has impounded 16,000 liters of stolen petroleum products in the state. The state NSCDC commandant, Mr. Samuel Fadeyi, said the stolen products, which are mainly automotive gas oil, also known as diesel, were stored in drums and gallons and hidden at trailer parks across the state. Speaking with journalists on Monday in Calabar while inspecting the seized petroleum products, Fadeyi said the search became necessary following an instruction from the Commandant General of NSCDC that some illegal activities were going on in parks. A former Kaduna Central Senator Shehu Sani has reacted to the kidnap of 4 Catholic Reverend sisters in Imo State by gunmen. Sami described the abduction of the Catholic nuns as unfortunate and tragic. In a tweet, the former lawmaker urged Nigerians to pray for the Reverend sisters. The victims include Johannes Modo, Christabel Echemazu, Liberata Mbamelu, and Benita Agu. As the Lagos state government placed a total ban on motorcycles popularly known as Okada, Lagosians have divergent views and theirs on street views. Take a listen.
I don't think that's the best idea. I don't think that's the best solution for now because it will affect a lot of people. And personally, though, or like me, I'm not used to Okada. I do drive on my own car, so I'm not used. Even aside that, if I want to go out, if the place is not a little bit far, I will trek because of the incident of all these, the accident that do happen based on the Okada issue. So I don't like Okada. But one way or the other, there are some people that they can't do without going about taking Okada to their respective places. So and aside that, it will affect a lot of family.
It will favor certain people, then it will disfavor certain people. Why? Because some people who live as early as possible to get to their place of work. So the total eradication of Okada is going to affect them in one way or the other. Some of them, like if they are coming from mainland to island, as soon as they get to this, I don't know whether a junction, a particular bus stop, they will just board a bike straight to island. So it will facilitate or probably foster their movement to the office. As it is now, they've banned it, so it will be so complex for them to find their way to adjust their system or to adjust or to align with that kind of system.
First of all, there's a little of accident. And before Okada, when was Okada even came to Nigeria? Must we be, even the whole giant of Africa, be using Okada for what? But only they ban Okada, they're not supposed to ban that people are riding Okada. They should ban people who are importing Okada or doing assembly Okada in Nigeria. If I thought they want to ban it. But Okada, does it have any advantage? If there's no, then why are we against banning it? Because I see a lot of disadvantages about it. Because it harm and then make people fall. And then our people also, I can say sorry, for security reasons, it is very good for them to ban it.
I'm happy they ban the Okada. At the same time, I'm not happy because there's some place I would like to go. and I will need bike to get there quick. No Lagos traffic now.
It's going to affect those who doesn't have job and are using this Okada rider to provide their daily living and their loved one. So that is the only negative side of it that I see so far. If not, it also cause accident on the road. Because most of those Okada guys took some drugs, also take Ogogoro, which they call Kai Kai, to do this business. They cause unnecessary accident. So for government to ban it, it is a good idea.
And in other parts of Africa, clashes occurred in Freetown and other cities such as Makeni and Kamakwi in the north of the country on August 10 when protests descended into violence. The families of Sierra Leoneans who died in protest against the high cost of living arrived at a morgue in the capital, Freetown, on Monday to identify their loved ones. A small crowd gathered outside the Connaught Hospital where officials said the remains of 31 people were waiting to be identified. And supporters of Angolan opposition party National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, UNITA, cheered during the UNITA final campaign rally ahead of general elections. UNITA ends the electoral campaign appealing to Angolans to vote for change. In Kazenga, on the outskirts of Luanda, thousands of supporters of Adalberto Costa Jr. gathered. The presidential candidate attacked MPLA's governance and listed several problems of the country. UNITA's leader appealed to citizens to make sure they secure their votes on the 24th near the polling stations. Adalberto Costa Jr. closed the campaign, reiterating his complaints about the electoral process. And outside Africa, about 2,000 anti-government demonstrators gathered outside New Zealand's parliament on Tuesday to vent their frustration on a range of issues nearly 6 months after protesters were forcibly removed from the grounds of the legislature. Organized by the Freedom and Rights Coalition, the demonstrators were protesting over tighter environmental regulations for farmers. A government bid to take over regionally owned water assets and now largely removed COVID-19 restrictions. About 250 counter-protesters also gathered in a bid to counter hate, homophobia, bigotry, and disinformation from the far right, organizers of the counter-protest said on a Facebook post. And in some business news, as the challenges in the nation's aviation sector linger, the federal government yesterday disclosed it was currently engaging relevant authorities to ensure over $600 million of trapped foreign airlines funds were released. The relevant authorities include airlines, the CBN, among others. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed disclosed these during a tour of the new Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Terminal 2 in Lagos. However, the minister, while responding to questions on the foreign airlines trapped fund, noted that the relevant authorities were working hard on the issue. The combined bank borrowing to oil firms operating in the downstream and upstream subsectors of the Nigerian oil and gas industry was 5.93 trillion naira as of June 2022, according to data from the Central Bank of Nigeria. While operators in the downstream, natural gas and crude oil refining subsector owed banks 4.28 trillion naira. Operators in the upstream and services subsectors were indebted to banks to the tune of 1.65 trillion naira. This shows an increase of 250 billion naira from the total debt of 5.68 trillion naira in December 2021. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria had in March raised the alarm over the huge losses incurred by operators in the oil and gas industry as a result of vandalism and oil theft. And in some entertainment news, Nigerian rapper Idris Abdul Karim has successfully undergone a kidney transplant surgery, his management, La Cream Entertainment, reviewed on Monday. A statement by Mike Palm on behalf of the management noted that Idris and his wife Yetunde, who is his kidney donor, were both recuperating. The management further appreciated celebrities and fans for supporting the couple during their health crisis. The rapper announced that he suffered kidney failure and would undergo a transplant. in July. And in some sport news, Manchester United produced an outstanding display to defeat Liverpool and give manager Erik ten Hag his first Premier League victory at a thunderous Old Trafford. Ten Hag took the decision to drop captain Harry Maguire and Cristiano Ronaldo and was rewarded with a performance that lifted the mood of crisis around Manchester United and leave Liverpool still searching for a first win of the season. Jadon Sancho showed superb control and composure to deservedly put United in front after 16 minutes before Marcus Rashford raced clear to beat Alisson from substitute Anthony Martial's pass 8 minutes after the interval. Mo Salah set up a tense finish when he scrambled in a header with 9 minutes left, but United survived to give Ten Hag just the sort of triumph he needed to make his mark at Old Trafford. That's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex on www.limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. I am Ifeanyi Elumezim. Many thanks for watching.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
SA Designs is a fashion accessory label that specializes in the design and creation of handcrafted bags and footwear. I knew I was going to do something in fashion. I didn't know what exactly it was going to be, but I knew I would be in fashion. If it used to be the cleaner in fashion, whatever, but I have to be in fashion. When we started off with just strictly bag making. But then you get people say, oh, can I get a matching shoe? And then over time, people say, oh, I would like to give my boyfriend a wallet, but I want it with Ankara or something. So over time, we had to listen to our customers and infuse their ideas into our brand. Okay, we wanted something with the African touch, with the Nigerian feel. We make leather bags. But if I'm making a leather bag and I put it in a store, if you don't know Hesse Designs is Nigerian, you probably think it's a foreign bag. So what's the point of promoting something that is not, if you look at, you can't link it to Africa, you can't link it to Nigeria. Wanted something to promote Africa, wanted something to promote Nigeria. We also want to empower our artisans here. So that's why we keep our content local, raw materials local, production local. We still get a lot of people from around the world ordering from our website. So I believe it's because of what we've built, the brand we've built over time that still speaks for us. In the last 3 years, we've done over 10,000 items. We've sold over 10,000 items to both corporate clients, retail clients, and wholesale clients.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as that affects us all. I am Usayome Saleh, and today all the ladies are in they're wearing black.
We understood the assignment.
You understood the assignment. Hello, Mani Mani.
How you doing?
Hi, no, my fine. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Hello, Uwasale. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I had this weekend I didn't step out of my house Saturday and Sunday. I said there is no way
then you come
anything will move me from my bed. That was how
you
bad.
needed to rest.
I needed that rest. It was really tiring.
I intentionally did that on Saturday because I was exhausted. In fact, even today was sort of a slow, quick start. It was kind of slow, but yet before you knew, the day was gone. It actually looked like we were in London for some reason. The weather was just looking very gloomy all day.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody noticed that. Yeah,
I was on the mainland, almost the whole of
midnight.
today, and it was raining. So
really?
yeah, I was driving through the rain. But hey, we're here.
And we're black.
We're back. We have a long conversation today. We have a friend of the house. And we cannot wait to have that chat with him. We're discussing the gubernatorial race, right, for the Lagos State gubernatorial race for the 2023 general election. And here's what we found is today's quote. Elections belong to the people. It's their decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behinds, then they'll just have to sit on their blisters. This was a quote from Abraham Lincoln. Now, the 2023 Lagos State gubernatorial election will take place on the 11th of March in 2023 to elect the governor of Lagos State, concurrent with elections to the Lagos State House of Assembly, as well as 27 other gubernatorial elections and elections to all other states' houses of assembly. Gbadebo Rose Vivor is here to discuss the 2023 elections, the Lagos State governorship race, right? And we'll do all of that. But first, let's take a break to see what we found in the news.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the barbing, I pay my rent.
On the button, send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
You are still watching Ways. Now, the General Assembly, in its resolution, designated 22nd of August as the International Day for commemorating the victims of acts of violence based on religion or belief recognizing the importance of providing victims of the act of violence based on religion or belief and members of their families with appropriate support and assistance in accordance with the applicable law. It strongly deplored all acts of violence against persons on the basis of their religion or belief, as well as any such act directed against their homes, businesses, properties, schools, cultural centers, or places of worship, as well as all attacks on and in religious places, sites, and shrines that are in violation of the international law. I mean, this is one thing that I think, we were just talking in the makeup room about religious tolerance amongst, Christians. I mean, again, then there's now a wider body of tolerance amongst other religions, other practices, other mode of worship, I think if you just mind your business in this life, everything will be fine. Do you understand? If you have chosen that this is the person you want to serve, this is how you want to worship, allow another person, just be in your lane.
It's not even a matter of minding your business. It's a matter of live and let live.
Yeah, live and let live. Let me
do
tolerance.
Let me consideration.
Yes, I do me.
God
knows best.
Be considerate of everyone because everybody is entitled to their own differences and opinions. You don't force your opinion on me, and I won't force my opinion on you as well.
Like, I don't even get it.
Absolutely. All right, ladies, quickly.
What did we find?
Yeah. Money, you go first.
Okay, so exempt tax on corporate bonds to attract market investors, SEC tells federal government. So the Securities and Exchange Commission has asked the federal government to consider its proposal to exempt corporate bonds from the payment of taxes. Lamido Yuguda, Director General of the SEC, said this at a press briefing held to discuss the outcome of the Second Capital Market Committee meeting, the CMC for 2022, which had over 300 capital market operators in attendance. A corporate bond is for 10 years, which expired on January 1st, 2022. Now, Yuguda called for the continuation of such and said the exemption of tax on corporate bonds would help to unlock the attractiveness of the corporate bond market. He stated that the SEC has been in talks with the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning to reinstate the tax rebate program and are also coordinating with tax and fiscal authorities to advocate the return to status quo. So Yuguda assured a good one if it is taken into consideration. What do you girls think?
I think so too.
At the end of the day, we're just looking for how to attract investors. So we need to have an enabling environment for them to come. So if this is going to help, why not?
Let's see that they follow it through.
Exactly.
So the thing about all this attracting investors, the investors are already within the system. Can they even try to
exactly
to make
it easy for them
Can you make
do business?
Make life easy for them before you're thinking of attracting investors.
Because they're going to come and run out.
Yes,
again.
no.
Yeah, I think so too.
So
focus on what we need to.
Your story.
Well, taking it from last week where we had all bad news for Nigeria being in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons, to this week I decided that I will start very excited because of the first news I saw about a young lady who her name is Ienobong Essen, who is being seen. The question is Nigerian teen going to be the next women's golf prodigy?
Wow.
So this young lady started from the age of 5, and she just had the opportunity to see golf being played, and she just got interested and started. And from 5, she was already registered for her first competition at the same year, and it was obvious that this young girl was a natural in playing golf. And now she's 16, but at the age of 11, she already started representing Nigeria in international competitions in the US and the UK and in Africa, including Morocco, Botswana, and South Africa. Now she's 16, and she's ranked as the #1 junior girls golfer in Nigeria.
Wow.
And she's gone ahead to go for I think there was a competition she participated in sometime in July, and she came, was it second place in that competition, and that was in Ireland. She is doing amazingly well, and she has the right kind of mindset. I don't know if they can show it, but the right kind of mindset. I mean, reading her story on CNN, because she was being interviewed on CNN, she was, she's challenging herself. She's seeing every opportunity as an opportunity to grow and to be the best in what she loves, which is golf. Even though she had her upbringing from the US, right? But she came and she grew up here in Nigeria. Awesome. So this was a very good one. There was a commendation from our president to her. I think a message was sent to her, president joining fellow Nigerians to congratulate her on bringing good news, those who are representing Nigeria in a good light and all of that. She was quite interested. She showed that she was actually delighted to get that commendation.
Just like every other kind.
Who doesn't like to associate with success, really?
Yes. Everything we talk about an enabling environment.
Absolutely.
My daughter, for instance, is very good at gymnastics. In fact, she's a contortionist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my first
We had a contortionist sometime.
She's a contortionist. She can
on the show.
bend and twist
as
if she doesn't have bones in her body. But we don't have the people here that would train.
Oh, there are people that
well, if you
that
have
she can start training. Oh,
definitely,
definitely.
So when I see people doing, very good in athletic sports, I'm like,
and that's what we're asking for, an enabling environment, isn't it?
Enabling environment, yeah.
Okay, moving on. MBA conference that is ongoing. Chimamanda gave a keynote address, and she was talking about how that we do not have enough leaders to look up to in our current system in Nigeria. She made a long list of, of course, Nigeria happens to everyone, but she reeled out
broke
a lot
it down,
of talks around the state of the economy, the state of the nation, and all of that. But there was also something that happened while the conference was going on. They raised about 3.2 million naira for a female footballers rather. And in that she said a bold transitioning must embrace audacity and innovation. They have called me troublesome, because people always say she's always troublesome. They say, although it is never enjoyable to be called troublesome, I never set out to provoke for its sake, but I refuse to silence myself for the fear of what I might inadvertently provoke. It has always been important to me to say what I believe, to call out injustice. I mean, Chimamanda is one voice that when she speaks, the world listens. So I'm happy that, she has continued to be
voice
true
out
to herself.
Yeah, I like
she has
that.
continued to be consistent in her message or her messaging, So I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to whatever it is that happened in the NBA. Now you go tell us. We saw some Peter Obi moves happening, political moves, and Shetima.
Yeah.
The APC presidential candidate did not get there, but he sent his VP. You know, people say, why was he looking angry? But hey, that's another joke for another day. But a lot went on at Eco Hotel today. At the NBA, Eco Atlantic, right, at the NBA conference. It was Eco Hotel, I saw the venue.
No, it's actually Eco Atlantic.
Oh, really? Atlantic, yeah. Oh, okay. The venue I saw looks like the Eco Hotel. But hey, let's take a break. Let's discuss with our guest on the Lagos State gubernatorial race. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
He suffered equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, they go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, according to Wikipedia, Lagos State is a highly populated, diverse southwestern state that is a major financial center, along with being a key culture, education, and transportation hub. Although it faces overcrowding and chronic dilapidating traffic, it has grown to one of the largest economies in Africa. Now, politically, the 2019 elections were a continuation of the state APC's control, as presidential incumbent Muhammadu Buhari won the state by 12%, and the party held all these 3 Senate seats while gaining in the House of Representative elections. On the state level, the APC also retained its House of Assembly majority, but the gubernatorial election was prefaced by the unprecedented defeat of the incumbent Akiwumi Ambode in the APC primary, marking the first time an incumbent Nigerian governor was defeated in a party primary. His primary challenger, Sanwo-Olu, went on to win the general elections by a wide 54% margin ahead of Sanwo-Olu's term. Sanwo-Olu's term. The aim of his administration were improving transportation, health and environment, education and technology, entertainment, tourism, economic modernization and security. In terms of his performance, Sanwo-Olu was commended for economic and academic digitalization, road infrastructure repairs, urban renewal, his initial COVID-19 pandemic response, and some public transportation improvement. However, his administration was criticized for poor distribution of the COVID-19 palliatives, the BRT and the Lagos State NURTW crisis, poor financial management, and alleged corruption. Sanwo-Olu came under fire also for his handling of the October 2020 protests, waived the NSAS movement. Most staunchly over the Lekki massacre when soldiers that Sanwo-Olu requested for crowd control killed multiple protesters along with the shooting aftermath when the Sanwo-Olu administration rejected a judicial report confirming the massacre and instead drafted a white paper denying any death. Now, Nigerians, Lagosians have gone through a lot since the last elections, and with the 2023 elections fast approaching, we want to know your thoughts on the Lagos State governorship race. What do you think would happen in this coming elections, right? Especially because we have a lot of new players in the building, right? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag WaitShow. Quickly, Mani and Norma, what do you think is going to happen in 2023?
2023 is going to be very exciting. The incumbent right now is promising a lot to continue his good work. The PDP candidate and Labour Party, their mantra is a breath of fresh air. So we are looking forward to a breath of fresh air because I think APC has been here for so long, so we want something else. And then the fact that they both have their hands, they've done a lot of public work and private, ventures. I think I'm looking forward to seeing them do a lot in the campaign.
How are you, Noah?
Well, it's going to be a very stiff competition. I can see already there are so many parties, but it seems like there are some who are making
there are parties and there are parties.
Yeah. Stages. So it's really going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to how Lagosians take ownership of Lagos State.
Yes. Okay, Gbadebo Road Bible is a Lagosian that is trying to take ownership of Lagos State. Popularly known as JRV, or the hopeful Nigerian, is the gubernatorial candidate for the Labour Party, Lagos State, and an architect and a businessman. He has had his first degree in architecture from Nottingham University and a master's degree from the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Boston. He ventured into politics in 2017 by contesting for chairmanship of Ikeja local government under the COA party. In 2019 at 35, he won the ticket of the People's Democratic Party to contest for Lagos State West senatorial seat. Gbadebo is a strong believer in Nigeria's future, and he devotes himself to developing fellow young people to take on the mantle of leadership. And he's a friend of the house, and we are very happy to be welcoming him back now as the gubernatorial candidate for the Labour Party.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. Good to be here.
So, Gbadebo, say before you came, before, there was no gubernatorial candidate attached to your name. Now that there's a gubernatorial candidate, I'm not going to be nice to you.
Level.
Nah, I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be nice to you, but first of all, congratulations. I mean, this is a long-fought battle from the what party now, PDP, you then move on to, I think, ADC or so.
No.
Okay, you move on straight to Labour. Okay, awesome. So I'm happy that you finally got the ticket. First of all, I want to say that I'm happy because you're young like me. It's like important.
Like us.
Well, I don't know about that. Some of us are in our 30s.
Thank you.
So I'm happy that, first of all, that I'm seeing young people being given the chance at this, seat of power. Very, very important for the young people that are also coming up. So you stand already as a role model to many because you just make them believe that it is actually possible. Right? But you see, Lagos State is a very, very tough state to govern. Lagos State is not like every other state. Lagos State has some unique, Challenges. And again, because it is almost like the cash cow, the eye candy of the nation, so everybody wants to come to Lagos. You just believe that if I come to Lagos, I'm going to make it. So how is it possible, first of all, to govern the state? Do you think it is possible to transform the state to, maybe an international hub, like the way we see, states, countries abroad? Because I actually believe Lagos State has the potential, but is this possible?
Of course. Lagos State can be so much more. If the monies that are being raised from taxing these so many vibrant and innovative people that live here are used transparently and accountably. And the problem with the way Lagos State has been run in the last 20 years, in my opinion, is that it's been run with a Chicago mafia type style, where almost any success in business is almost stifled. There's always a shakedown, multiple taxations that are happening without any explanation or accountability of what you're using these taxes for. And I keep saying to people, imagine what Alhaji Lateef Jakande was able to achieve in 4.5 years. He could do that because he put the people first. In everything, it was about delivering the project in the fastest possible time, at the cheapest possible price, at the best possible quality to the people. It was not ego-driven projects where they just do a project, they just want to be able to point and say, we did this project, that's how so much amount of money was spent, but the people are not using it, you know? So I feel that Lagos State can be a hub of tourism, not just because we're surrounded by water, and really we should be a very scenic city if our water bodies were cleaned and managed properly, but it can also be a place, a resource center for arts and culture and learning, and a showcase of Nigerian and African history as a whole to the world. It can position itself to be that way. Lagos State can position itself to have the highest skilled workforce in Africa. I mean, we have, if you think about 65% of our population is youth, and think that Lagos is a mini Nigeria with almost 22 million people. So 65% of that are youth, able-bodied people, and you see them all over the streets, all the people we call agbiros that are constantly trying to take things. We need to equip these people with skills and give them an alternative path to actually being able to take care of themselves and getting an enabling environment so companies can come and settle and hire these people, right? This is the vision for Lagos, not the status quo, not the suffering and smiling that Fela sang about that we still have to keep doing. Not 4 hours in traffic every day. You wake up before your kids wake up. You come back home, your kids are asleep. You know, we want a Lagos that works for people, puts people first, and also is decentralized. That's going to Lagos West and Lagos East, not just the center, right? So we start to have a Lagos that allows for a better quality of life for everybody.
Absolutely. I like what how you have, laid the foundation, because there's a unique, what's it called, challenge with the youth in Lagos. I mean, just today I was on the mainland. I needed to attend a meeting, so I was in my car on Teams having that meeting for like an hour, and I see a group of 5 able-bodied young guys and all of that. The next thing, I saw them bringing out different things. There's high proliferation of drugs, right, amongst the youth. And again, this is also, I feel like it's really tied to the fact that a lot of them are idle. They don't have anything that they're doing.
Exactly.
So first of all, where do you see us really plugging this challenge around the youth? Because they're everywhere. The agberos that you're calling them, they are just everywhere. And it doesn't seem like, and these people are already used to the idea that they have accepted the idea that they are thugs, and they've worn it as an apparel, and they are willing to do anything to just remain so, not change the status quo, because nobody's giving them a better option. Do you think if you become a governor, you think you are able to cater to those kinds of people? Because those are the people truly that are determining who the next governor would be in this state. And if we continue to have those kind of people, it'll be difficult for them to find a cerebral mind. It'll be difficult for them to find someone that is willing to take them off of that kind of lifestyle, because they just believe that that's all they know and that's the best that they can have.
Okay, so, you know, it's like, if the head of a fish is rotting, you know, everything goes bad. If the head is bad, you know. So, in terms of what you just spoke about, you need to understand that this new identity, not even a new identity, this identity you just described, is part and parcel of the government that exists today. They work hand in hand. I'll give you an example. I'm an architect, I have interest in construction. I'm doing a renovation in a hidden estate in Surulere. And the area boys in the area will come and do a shakedown, make people down tools. And guess who they call? They then call Alausa. So they are working hand in hand, right? And you see, there's also an aspirational nature to all of this, which is these same area boys, they use violence, they show that they have muscle, politicians use them, they then get elevated in society, and then you see the likes of the MC Oluomos and all of that. So there's that aspirational thing where if we do enough, we also will get there, will be respected, right? And that is based on the government that currently has existed in Lagos for a very long time. They have legitimized this. We saw during the NSAS where they brought busloads full of these guys. I don't want to call them thugs because, you know, if they had an alternative quality, it's just, yes. But you see them, they were bossed there by politicians, came out with cutlasses right in front of government house. Without any fear, without any consideration. The governor was sitting in Alausa, and all this was documented. So because they have the blessings of the government and the government have used them for so long, they feel entitled. They feel like they're the fourth arm of government, right? When you have, after the local government, it's them. And they work hand in hand with local government, who then works with the state government, right? So this must change, right? Even in a situation where we are now automating payments that are collected by the unions, but we are ensuring that those monies, I mean, almost 130 billion is generated by collection from transportation workers every year. What happens with these monies, right? It just goes up to some people that they shared. But what we want to do is those monies should stay down. As opposed to having a pyramid scheme, it should be leveled, where these monies affect the lives of members of these unions, right? Where they have health insurance, where they can afford to send their children to school because there's a bursary associated with this wealth. And I call it in my manifesto the Commonwealth of Lagos. It's no more, we have to level it so that it's no more valuable to use violence to aspire to get up, right? A transparent, accountable system will allow for you to get what you deserve. And that's it. So that it's not about how violent you are or how aggressive you are, how it can be used by politicians. And the idea also is when you come into power, to not abuse that power and use the less fortunate to achieve your political will. That takes discipline as someone in power. Instead of, I mean, there are politicians that are sending drugs, because this started with drugs, sending drugs to communities intentionally. Because when you have people hooked on drugs, you can get them to do anything. You know, during elections, politicians will not only buy alcohol, they'll buy drugs for these young men and send them to go and snatch ballot boxes, right? So we need a government, a leadership with empathy. It's not just about what you want. What is in the interest of these people?
These people are the people you're up against. But let's just go on a very short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're discussing the 2023 elections, and we're talking about the Lagos State governorship race with Gbadebo Rhodes-Vival, the gubernatorial candidate for the Labour Party, Lagos State. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Let me let my ladies talk, because I was just going to say to you that if that is what you're up against, are you even ready to win this election?
So let me touch on that. You see, when people say this APC machinery, Tinubu machinery, all of that, these area boys, elections in Lagos State only turn out 19 to 18% of the registered voters. Yeah. So there's what I call the silent majority. They are sitting at home, they are not inspired by what is being offered, they're interested in manifestos, they want people that reflect integrity, and you see it in the excitement and the energy in the populace right now. They've seen something that they can aspire to. They've seen something that inspires them to want to come out, to want to give their time, not just their time, their money as well. And you're going to see a difference in 2023. And I tell you, if you gather all these area boys together, they're not up to 50,000. If 1 million people out of the 7 million registered voters come out to vote, they will overwhelm anything that they try to do. You see, you can only rig where there is voter apathy, right? When people come out properly, you cannot do anything about it. And like I say, the voice of the people is the voice of God, right? So the important thing is the people now realize that it's their time to take ownership. It's their time to make their voices heard. It's their time to actually come out and vote and participate in the process, right? So that when somebody comes in with a 2 million margin or a 3 million margin, they know they're accountable to the people. They not buy their way in there. They not use thugs to get in there. And now, even with the transmission of votes electronically, what used to be the norm before is not going to be the norm anymore.
Yeah.
You just said something about this rigging being possible when there's voters apathy.
Yes.
So now, with everything that is going on in Lagos State, do you think we will see the normal APC win-win next year, especially when we have the incumbent as APC, or you think things are going to change and we'll see something new?
I think things are going to change significantly, and things are going to change because people are fed up with mediocrity in governance, especially with the way the NSAS situation was handled, especially with the lack of transparency and accountability of Lagos State government. I mean, it's taken almost 10 years to build a train system that Alhaji Lateef Jakonde started so long ago that would have been finished in 2.5, 3 years if he was the person in charge. You know, and just the same of the same, and you find that there'll be little increments close to elections. Yeah. So all of a sudden, everybody is now commissioning flyovers, and this happens every 4 years, right? So I think people have seen through this, and you know, we want something different. It's time to try something different. It's time to try accountability. It's time to try a situation where government is not just focused around one person and his cronies and people that have proximity to power. It's about the people. It's about you. That's why the movement that we're pushing is our Lagos. It's time for us to take ownership of our Lagos. It's not just for one person, you know?
So if I may plug in that, but how are you, what are you and your party, Labour Party, doing deliberately to prepare the minds and hearts of Lagosians? Because you mentioned that a majority are at home and watching silently, right? And still a majority are not inspired to step out and be part of it, even though we see a lot going on social media and all of that. How are you and your party, how are you preparing the minds of people? What are you intentionally doing to make sure that this number of the 7 million, out of the 7 million Lagosians, that at least that number of 1 million would be ready and will come out to vote?
So, you know, campaign season has obviously not started.
It's about to start in another few months, yes.
Yeah, door-to-door meetings that are happening, people reaching out to each other, talking to each other. I mean, I was in Alimosho over the weekend with different groups that are getting together and doing work. The fantastic thing about Labour Party is people are so inspired that they're not even waiting for the politicians or the party structure for them to start having meetings. Yeah. They're having meetings by themselves. And that is what democracy is. Sure. It should not be something that is the politicians' game.
It's it's for the people,
it's
by
for
the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but in Nigeria, what you found is that it's because most politicians don't really have much to offer. Is they have the thugs, they have the money to buy the elections, so they determine the play of the game.
Yeah.
But now, because there's so much more at stake, there's vision, there's manifesto, there's inspiration, there's integrity. People have seen that and they are now inspired. And they are getting organized by themselves because now they want to see a change. They want to see a new type of government.
Absolutely. So is that also helping structure-wise?
Yeah. Oh yes, significantly. To build a structure when you don't have people, when you have to go and convert people, is very difficult.
Yeah.
But to build a structure where people are like dying to come in, they're hungry to come into the house.
Just open the door.
Thank you. You build the house and open the door.
I like where you are putting a smile because we all know that there's a buzz around the Labour Party because again you can't help but the fact that the youth are obedient.
Exactly. We're obedient and useful.
Everybody is looking forward to the 2023 elections because for the first time in a long time they see some ray of hope in a candidate who want to now pledge their support and everything to them. But I was going to ask you this question: what gives you the credibility to be governor of Lagos State? Because I mean, we've always said that part of why Peter Obi is a selling point is the fact that he's ran for the office of the governor. He's done 2 terms. It transformed Anambra State. He has a track record. We see a pattern. We see a structure. But somebody will look at you and say, "Okay, nice guy, fine guy, went to school."
He's young.
They put his picture and they say something of Bridgerton.
Yes. I saw that. They said Lord Third Mainland Bridgerton.
I didn't see that. That was good.
Yeah, so we said that to you. But hey, we can't help but ask the question that. Now,
What
even
else?
though some people know you on close proximity, they've seen the work you've done. What gives you that, credibility to say, you know what, I can because Lagos has money. Lagos is not one of those states that
But
are
they keep
poor.
saying they're broke.
No,
they keep saying they cannot do this and that.
So, but they have the capacity, they have the potential, right? So, what gives you that credibility to be able to govern a state that controls about 20-something million people? Because somebody is saying here that Lagos is the 5th economy in Africa. He says somebody made it so. I believe Lagos can be the first economy with the potential that Lagos State has. We are underplaying our potential.
Yes.
Somebody made it so. So maybe you should help us with that.
When they say somebody made it so, the question is, with the funds that are coming into Lagos, IGR, how is it translating?
Yeah.
Right? That's the first question. Secondly, from my experience on the campaign trail, meeting people across half of Lagos and understanding where it hurts, right? I have the advantage of knowing, okay, in this local government, in Ojo, this person has to walk, this child has to walk almost an hour to be able to get to primary school, right? And I said on the show the last time I was here that the most important thing that we need to look for in leadership is empathy and cerebral capacity. That's the most important thing. Yes, experience matters, but there's so many people that have had experience that have been governors of Lagos State. The person that's currently governor has experience. I think he had experience in one of the housing MDGs. Projects, right? Well, how did that experience play out during the NSAS? How did that experience play out during transparency and accountability to govern Lagos? How is that experience translated to creating affordable housing for the people that actually need it, right? You go to Fashola, who was a son, highly intelligent, highly educated, highly experienced. But there's so many things that are lacking still, right? So for me, you must show a capacity to be able to manage systems intellectually, right? And you must show empathy for the people. Alhaji Lateef Jakonde was not a former governor, but he's the best governor Lagos has produced in so long. He was a journalist, right? But he had empathy. And it showed in the way he did projects. It showed in the education sector when he was governor. It showed in the healthcare system that he built. It showed in the housing. He was not even an architect. I am an architect. And by God's grace, I'm the architect of a new Lagos. So for me, I believe that I have what it takes with a party that is very passionate about the people. Even when you look at our logo, it has a mother, a father, and a child. Right? We are about welfare of the people. We are about the people. Right? And